I wanted to talk about some of the lesser known settlements in Crimson Desert. I'm not talking about the regional capitals, the main cities in the game. I'm talking about villages, towns, outposts, other locations, etc. that I found interesting, that I wanted to explore a bit more. Now, the first one is called Sunset Valley, which is where I am now. And this is analogous to a leper colony. Now, if you're not aware, a leper colony is where people who suffered from the skin disease leprosy, well, I think it might more accurately be called an autoimmune disease, were isolated. Now, historically, and this goes back to sort of the beginning of the AD period, people didn't really know how to treat this, so individuals afflicted with it were isolated. They were kept separated. This practice went on for a phenomenally long time, and in fact there are still leper colonies in the world, the modern world now. The disease can be treated, but at the time people were separated, they were sectioned off. As you can see here, this individual is wearing a mask over their head. They are wearing clothing that covers all their exposed skin. And this seems unduly harsh, but in a very weird way, they created their own communities, they created their own relationships. And this village that we see here shows that they could thrive despite these adverse and unwanted circumstances. It's in quite a remote location. I don't believe there's any reason to visit it from a quest point of view. The next place is Pororin. Now, Pororin is a village that is inhabited by, as you can see here, a lot of cats. And it's also inhabited by these mystical woodland spirit creatures, I guess you would call them. It's quite reminiscent of Tolkien and Anglo-Saxon folklore, etc. There's one floating in the air. And also these blue-skinned feline humanoids, which look a lot like Khajiit from Skyrim. We'll mention Skyrim again later. Any attempt to enter it will result in you being rejected. I think this is picturesque. There's lots of cats. These beings, whatever they are, mystical, spiritual, pagan forces of nature, which are represented as children garbed in green. Shire resident, it says here, are friendly, and once you're allowed in, you can explore freely. It's just a pleasant place to visit. It looks nice. It kind of looks like it's already very old. I think that's interesting, that even within the confines of a medieval fantasy game, it looks like this village has been here for a long time. So it could be unknowingly aged. And that implies that there is a lore behind these beings, these residents, that we aren't privy to. I find that interesting, and it looks nice, and the soundtrack's quite nice to listen to as well. The next one is the unfortunately named Skoghorn Farm. Now, Skoghorn Farm is in the very north of the map, and it's in a very kind of Scandinavian-looking area. There are these imposing mountains, and it's covered in snow, and the weather is quite drab. You don't get a lot of sunlight. And as I walk up this path here through these farmsteads, you'll see people gathering around a pond. I don't really know what they're looking at. They're just admiring the pond. Why not? And they're wearing these deer antler headpieces. And there is a active volcano as well. So this is clearly kind of, I would probably say Icelandic, if anything, in nature, but it's definitely Nordic. The land here is harsh. The lifestyle is difficult. These people are subsisting. They are really trying to make a go out of farming. I don't really know what's going on in terms of agriculture. Well, there are piles of hay. There are haystacks. So I guess they do have some kind of agriculture. But this again reminds me of Skyrim. I said I'd bring it up again, in the sense that it's this snowy, mountainous landscape. And I'm walking into a cattle pasture here, and a good thing to note is that you have the bull, who is not very happy for me to be there, and then you have the cows around him. But I like this area because otherwise unremarkable. It just represents to me a real fantasy trope of the blasted north, the great white north. The notion that you're going to encounter conditions that really forge a tougher character. Now, this next area, this isn't inhabited at all. Not by humanoids, anyway. And it's an oasis in the titular Crimson Desert. Now, you can see there are flamingos flying away from me. There are some more flamingos here. I think they're flamingos. I assume they are. Someone's let a campfire burn out beside it, and the water is pristine. It is clear. The surrounding views are very barren. You are literally in the middle of nowhere, and this place must, of course, be a respite for wildlife and human travellers alike. It's a point of interest that if you encounter it naturally, will make you think, oh wow, there is something here. I don't know in terms of gameplay what the use of it is. It's good that the geography of this game is somewhat realistic. Oases do occur, and they are very important. Sources of fresh water in the vast deserts of the Middle East and elsewhere are essential for life. It's a reward because to get here you have to trek across an awful lot of nothing, and at the end, there you go. You get to cool off in the waters of this oasis. Now, the final area may seem fairly unremarkable, and I've picked it because it's unremarkable, and it's called the Red Fox Trading Post, according to this. And it's just an average farm / settlement in the periphery of a city. There are many, many, many of these. A lot of the game consists of you riding through villages, hamlets, etc. that don't look unique, and there's nothing to really do in them. They're just kind of there as filler. But I think that's important, because often if you're trying to create a real world or a virtual world, you need to have things like that. That's, wherever you live, there are places that you'll have travelled through that you don't really consider. You might do them on your commute, or you might see them from day to day and never really stop to wonder who lives there, what are they doing, how do they make their living. And I think that's great. And when you reach the edge of this village, coming up to an area called the Beardtree Hills, you can see these magnificent cities and mountain ranges in the distance, on the shoreline, etc. And that's the kind of connective tissue of any society. To put that in a game, that's going to require, I suspect, the same amount of effort to generate, to render, to put together than the biggest cities. But if they weren't there, you would absolutely notice them. You would say, oh, this map is empty, it doesn't feel lived in, it doesn't feel organic. So, kudos, Pearl Abyss, kudos. You have created something very wonderful and enjoyable. Much like this video. And if you enjoyed it, please like and subscribe. Or not, I don't mind. I'm not your boss.